Welcome back to the Creatives Do Business Well podcast, a space of co-creation for solo creative entrepreneurs just like you, craving that transition from being a struggling artist to a successful creator. Keishandrea here. I'm your host, your multi-passionate business sister, and photographer turned holistic brand and content strategist. I tie branding, content creation, systems, and scaling your business back to everyday life. And my goal is to help you not only run a business, but find that sweet balance between your passion and profits and doing business as a creator exceptionally well. Okay, so I see this happening all the time in the creative community, so I want to talk to you about something. What will actually happen when creatives allow themselves to be seen? Let's get into this. The work that you've been keeping to yourself, the ideas, the designs, writings, any of your creations that are tucked away on a hard drive, in your sketchbook, in your camera roll, they all deserve to be seen. And I get it. Most of us spend years creating in isolation. We make these things and we refine them and try to perfect them so much, and then we just file them away. Never see the light of day because we're waiting for the perfect moment when we'll feel completely confident, and you tell yourself that the work has to be undeniably perfect. As a creator myself, with the business, I'm going to tell you that that moment rarely ever comes. But what does come is most times this realization that I know can change everything. Your work cannot create impact while it remains hidden. Every single day, creators sit on valuable work that never sees the light of day. The photographer like myself with all of these images where that just stays on the hard drive or in the folders of the laptop, or the writer with all of these notes or these essays tucked away, journal entries, designers with these concepts that never make it beyond their sketchbook. And what holds us back is not a lack of skill or talent. It's fear of judgment, of rejection, of not being good enough, fear of actually taking up space and being seen. So we tell ourselves things like, I'll share it when it's perfect, or nobody is going to care about this anyway, or who am I to be putting myself out there? I'm nobody special. Or I don't want to seem like I'm overdoing it. I don't want to be promoting myself all the time. But what you're really doing when you do this, you're robbing yourself of connection, of opportunities, impact that you could be making. You're keeping your gift to yourself when it was meant to be shared. You get whatever you need out of that, but then you put it out into the world for somebody else to get what they need from that. And I've thought on this for a long time because I even struggle with this myself. And I think visibility is so difficult for so many creatives because we've confused sharing our gifts, whatever that is, with self-promotion or sales. Most of us think of sales as being pushy, which isn't true. And I'll get more into that in another episode. But we think putting our work out there looks like you are shouting to the world, look at me, I'm amazing, when really it's more like you're just putting out something that you made and you're saying, okay, here's what I made. It resonated with me. Maybe it'll resonate with you too. And we worry so much about taking up space when what we're actually doing is creating space. Going back to the connections, we're creating space for inspiration, for possibility, for somebody other than ourselves. And creators, or maybe just business owners in general, worry about not being so egotistical or pushy by sharing their work, worried about the criticism or maybe even the silence that comes after you share your work. So this makes you wonder if that work is even special enough or if it deserves that attention. And of course, I'm creating this episode because it does deserve the attention. These concerns come from a misunderstanding of what visibility actually means. So think about this. When we allow ourselves to be truly seen, sharing not just our polished work or the finished product, but the processes, all of our different thoughts, our perspectives, our beliefs on something, or sometimes even the struggle when we don't even have it figured out yet. When we do this, we transform our relationship with creativity. So it's not about the achievement and the end result, what you're going to get out of it, and it's more about the contribution. What kind of impact could this make? Who does this have the possibility to reach and change their lives, change their perspective, help them through something? It's less about perfection and more about connection, less about proving your worth and more about providing value. Just think about the creatives who have influenced you on your own journey, the ones who had tutorials that helped you master a technique that you use in your business now, or the ones who always post about their creative blocks and that made you feel less alone about something similar that you were experiencing, or the people who have this unique way of doing something and it inspired you to try something new. Were those people perfect? Probably not, but it did provide you value, right? Exactly. So those creators probably weren't focused on impressing you with their best or flawless work. They were contributing their resources, their insights, their perspectives, and that helped you in some way. And I'm speaking on this because branding is mostly about the way people perceive you and your presentation, what you're putting out there into the world. I think we complicate branding when it's really about you sharing your work, your business, your offers. What you're building when you share consistently is a gallery of all these ideas, all of these insights you have, all of your techniques, all of your experiences that other people can explore at their own place. And even for myself, I look back on some of the things that I've put out on YouTube, TikTok to help me when I get back to that place, when I get stuck on something. Some people might need your perspective on overcoming something. Somebody else might connect with your approach to the way you do something. Somebody else might find value in your growth and just seeing how you've done this and you've evolved over time. I don't think we realize the impact that we have, even if it's invisible and you can't see it. We don't realize putting ourselves out there, it does have an impact. So for every person who comments or likes your post, there's more likely gonna be 10 times that of people who saw it, they connected with it, they found value in it, but they never liked it, announced themselves, comment. And I want you to start thinking about these silent observers because they are real people and they are often the ones who end up becoming your biggest supporters or clients. I want you to start thinking about your impact and how it goes way beyond what you can see or what these social media platforms and their analytics can measure. There are people who are changing their whole creative approach after looking at some of your posts. Or you might have some clients who follow your work months before they actually reach out or buy something. You might have another creator out there who is giving themselves permission to do something because you put yourself out there and you showed your behind the scenes, your processes, and your messy behind the scenes. The invisible connections are real and valuable, even if you can never see them in these social media analytics. It doesn't matter whether one person saw your work or 1,000 people that chose to engage with that. You are letting yourself be seen, knowing that one day, even if it's not as soon as you post that content, somebody is going to find it and it might change their life in some way. And like I said, even if you create for yourself first and you're able to look back on your own creations and help you through some challenges that you keep navigating over and over. That's honestly how I created all of these different programs and digital products and trainings that I have inside of the membership, because I'm like, okay, I need this because I'm tired of repeating the process. I need a framework. And I'm like, okay, well, since I created it for myself, somebody else might need this as well. So I package it up, put it in my link in bio, put it on my website to sell for other people who are navigating the same thing. So if you're a person who is using your creativity professionally, you have a business and you're putting yourself out there, remember that people are rarely making decisions based on seeing your work one time. They are checking you out multiple times, getting a feel for your style, what you believe in, your approach to doing things before they actually decide to connect with you. When somebody is exploring that work that you're putting out there, they're seeing how you think, what you care about, watching your evolution, and from there they can determine if you're the right fit for their needs and something that they're going through, if you can help them out with that. And I say this because if you're only sharing occasionally, they don't have enough information to go off of. But the people who share consistently, and not just the finished work or the best creative piece of content that they can put out there, but they're showing their processes, they're showing their thoughts, what they're thinking right now, even the occasional failure, they're building stronger connection than the people who are only posting the finished products. When you allow yourself to be seen, you create a bridge for the right opportunities to find you. But it doesn't exist if you keep your work hidden. So you have to give yourself permission to share openly about your creative journey. Even the struggles, y'all, the experiments, even if you don't have it figured out, you show others that your creativity isn't just about this perfect end result. And you're showing them that the creative work is a process. It has ups and downs. You have breakthroughs. You have setbacks. This is what creating a connection in a real community is about, because this vulnerability creates this ripple effect. You're showing your work in process, your mistakes, your learning curves, and you give others the opportunity and the courage to embrace their own messy processes. And if we think about community in this way, and if we think about our businesses and our brands as us creating a community, not just trying to get the sale, our communities can change when creators start sharing more openly. Because one person posts something that just came at the top of their head, and this inspires somebody else to share a thought that just came to them, or something that they tried and failed at, and that encourages somebody else to document their whole learning journey. And then you have this space that feels less competitive and less intimidating, and now it's becoming a space where we're collaborating and encouraging and inspiring each other. I don't know about y'all, but that's what I want my community to feel like. I don't want to feel like I have to be the quote unquote expert or the guru or somebody that knows it all. That's not why I'm creating community. Of course, there's going to be things that I might do better than the next person and vice versa. But I don't want to create this competitive space where I feel like I have to compete to be the best. That's not what branding and creating community is all about. It's more about your willingness to be seen and create spaces for others to do the same. So I don't want you to underestimate how powerful this permission that you give yourself can be for somebody that's just watching silently from the sidelines. Allow people to do that and allow them to come to you in their own time. You do what you have to do. You can speak the best when you put it out there, but do it without expecting that in return, because branding and putting yourself out there is always the long game. And I think with short form content and virality, it has us thinking that every every piece of content needs to perform well. We need to have 1,000 comments. We need to have 1 million likes. We need to have 1 million views. It doesn't work like that for the average person. You're not trying to become the loudest or the most perfect or polished. Your work and what you have to say, what you are doing out there matters because it's you. It's coming from you. It's uniquely yours. And I feel like that's why Instagram is dying, because people just showing their perfect life and their perfect lifestyle. Nobody can relate to that. That doesn't create real community. With all of these algorithms and this mass production of content, what we look for the most, what we are hungry for, is authentic human connections and human perspectives, things that we can actually relate to. So your specific way of seeing things, making things, sharing things, that can't be duplicated or replaced. You do it your way, somebody is looking for that, and they're not looking for it to be perfected. I want to offer you encouragement that your voice matters, your work matters. You putting yourself out there and being seen matters, not because it's going to be flawless, but because it's you and everything that you've overcome, the way that you approach things, the thoughts that you have on the things that you see going on in the world. All of this has value because it's coming from your lived experience. Nobody else has experienced that but you. And nobody else can create exactly what you create because of that. Nobody else can share exactly what your perspective is. That uniqueness about you is precious and it deserves to be seen. So from now on, look at your experiences as a gift. Everything that you have learned that has helped you grow, all of that is a gift and it's not meant to be hoarded. Give that freely. Creating and sharing takes us beyond ourselves, and it reminds us that we are a part of something so much bigger than us and that we're all connected in some way. I can guarantee you something that you've experienced, something that you thought of, somebody else can relate to that. And if you think about the biggest breakthrough that you've had on your own creative or personal journey, how much of that came from other creators who were generous enough to share what they learned? You were scrolling and saw somebody talking about that, and then it just sparked something in you to where now you can speak about that. So when you share, even if you have to share into the silence, into this void, and nobody is talking back to you, you're still creating opportunities for other people to learn from your journey. It's important to remember how much our vulnerability and our creativity and sharing our work, how valuable that is, and how that helps us to connect with other people that are going through the same thing and navigating the same challenges. And to wrap this up, now that you've heard me yap on this, what actually happens when creatives allow themselves to be seen? Magic happens. That magic is creating possibilities for ourselves and for other people. And this wouldn't happen if you kept your work private and you didn't allow it to be seen. You create so many opportunities that you probably couldn't have thought of or planned for. You provide resources that help other people on their creative journeys. In this process, you discover your own voice and you can hear and feel yourself more clearly through this process of experimenting and sharing yourself and your work. Now, the question shouldn't be whether you should be seen. The question now should be, what is going to be possible when you finally allow yourself to be visible and to be seen? What kind of connections are going to come from that? What opportunities are going to come from that? What impact am I going to have on somebody else's creative journey from sharing my work? What new am I going to discover about myself and my voice and my creativity in the process of sharing this? All of these possibilities are going to be closed if your work stays hidden, and they only begin to unfold when you take that step and give yourself permission to be seen without expectations. Even if you start small, choose one piece, a project that you're working on right now and you're proud of, and it doesn't have to necessarily be perfect, but it feels authentic to you, and put that out into the world this week, and then do it again the next week, and then build that habit of sharing before you feel like you're ready, or creating before you feel inspired, sharing before you feel confident. All of this feeling ready and wanting to be inspired and wanting to be the most confident person, that is going to come from you actually creating and sharing, not before it. Ask any creative and they'll tell you that's not how it works most of the time. So I want you to be assured that your voice, your creative work, the way you want to share this next project that you're working on, all of this deserves to be seen and to be heard. Your thoughts deserve to be shared. Your work deserves to be seen. All that's needed from you now is your courage to begin and allow yourself to be seen. Somebody out there is waiting for exactly what only you can create. So don't keep us waiting too long. Until next time, keep creating, keep sharing, and keep allowing yourself to gloriously and perfectly be seen. Happy creating. See you in the next episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Love today's episode? Go ahead and show us some love and support by leaving a 5-star review. Catch up with me at Keyshandra Creates or Creatives Do Business Well. We want to reach more creatives like you, so be sure to tell your creative business friends and family about us. Don't just talk about it, be about it, and get out there and cultivate your gift and create the sustainable business you deserve.